When you pass a Ferrari or a really nice car in a car park, how long do you think about that car after? Not long. So why do you go through social media and get obsessed with someone's body, or why do people do that? Don't try and be someone else. I mean, be happy with yourself and try and be a better version of yourself instead of trying to be a better version of a celebrity or something. These supplements that are coming out now, I think they're all a load of, they're just terrible. And the people that they choose to get the products, sell the products, they don't care about the person buying it. If you have a bad day, let it be a bad day and just start again tomorrow. Don't wait until Monday or next month, or I fell asleep on the couch last night, but don't worry, I'll wait until January to brush my teeth. How stupid does that sound?
Welcome to the Generation Hustle Podcast, a show that explores the world of business, entrepreneurship, and culture, all centered around the millennial. I'm your co-host Sherison, alongside my good friend Amin, and this week we're putting you on the spot. We're officially almost 3 months into the new year. How are your New Year's resolutions holding up? If you've fallen off track, don't even worry. That's why we have episode 37 this week with Gethin Ellis. Gethin is a chef turned nutritionist and personal trainer based out of Wales. In a short time, he has completely shifted his career and has worked with high-profile athletes at the top of their game. With clients such as Darren and Robert Duran Jr., Gethin is making a name for himself in the fitness space and is only getting bigger. So we sit down for a chat to hear about his journey. Gethin explains how he successfully pivoted his career into the fitness industry, the pros and cons of various diets that have been trending lately, and the dangers of the supplement industry. We also discuss the harmful effects of social media on body positivity and mental health. This was a really informative episode, so much so that Gethin actually secures one of us as a client during the actual conversation. So if you're looking to understand how to become the best version of yourself, then click play. Man, Gethin, thanks so much. Thanks for coming on our podcast. We thought it would be really cool to have you on and talk about some of the things that you're doing in the personal training space. And I know you just launched a podcast too, and you got a lot of things going on. So we figured it's a great time to get you on and just kind of hear your story, you know? So thanks again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on, to be honest with you. It's quite nice being on a podcast and not running one.
Yeah. So. I have to ask you about the accent first. What part of England are you from?
Oh, whoa. I'm not English, I'm Welsh.
Oh, okay. Okay. I can't even say that, eh? The UK. I should say the UK. The UK.
I'm from North Wales originally, okay. So I'm Welsh, not English. I mean, so
yeah. No, it's all good. I have a lot of family from the London area, so I haven't ever been like to the north side, but I've always wanted to travel there because they have like a lot more things to actually see and do than you. London's boring, so boring. Like there's nothing to do there.
No, I enjoy it up here. Obviously, I'm based in Liverpool at the moment, so. It's only a stone throw away from North Wales, so it's good.
Have you been to Toronto at all before or no?
Do you know what? I've never left Europe.
Wow. Dude, you got to get out of there, man. As soon as all this is done, obviously.
I cannot wait. I've never left Europe, so I'm one of them where, typical Welsh person, really. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you've been working with a lot of people, especially in the fitness space, and maybe that's going to bring you out of there one day. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And having clients now across the world does help, because it will help if let's say I need to go to America or something, and there's a show on. It helps having connections out there already, or Australia, or I've got someone over in South Africa. So, them little things that could potentially help if I was to go, you know what, let's go on a holiday. Let's go to South Africa to safari or something. It's a help having some connections in different places too, a part of not knowing anyone anyway, sort of thing.
And how'd you get into the space while training fighters, I guess, from a nutritional standpoint?
So I've been a chef for 10 years, but I've also I really enjoyed MMA, UFC. I remember watching my first ever fight I watched was Shane Carwin versus Brock Lesnar, and I remember staying up. I remember disconnecting the dial-up phone.
Yeah.
So disconnect the telephone. So we had to disconnect the telephone. I remember falling asleep on the PC. And there was an emergency call being made, and obviously it never got connected. So because I was watching the UFC.
Yeah.
And I remember that, and then over years, then it's just built up and really enjoying UFC and really enjoying cooking, and I just started going more into nutrition and the science behind it. Started doing some courses, started looking at different sort of how certain fighters were eating. Look at a lot of Google stuff is not legit, but I was going through a lot of different Google pages, going through Men's Health, buying weekly Men's Health, thinking that that was legit how everyone was eating, and just kind of fell into it. And then I started working in Healthy Box in Liverpool, and that's where I first met Till and Paul and all them, and that's where they all started connecting with them really. And obviously I had the call last year to work with Till for his Whitaker fight, but prior to that I'd already worked with 5 or 6 fighters on a lower level, if you like. So a couple on the Bellator, a female boxer in Savannah Marshall, who's now world champion. So, I mean, it was like, but it was one of her first pro fights sort of thing, first or second, I think. So it was like early on. And then obviously the magnitude of the fights just got bigger and bigger. And I'm like, well, because I've got a fighter fighting over in Mexico tonight in 3 hours or so. So, and then I've got another fighter fighting in London tomorrow evening. So it's like, all these fighters are now fighting. I'm like trying to keep up with everyone.
Right. And can you describe like Darren Till? Because he's a pretty fun personality, I would say. Like we've seen some of the interviews he obviously gives to the UFC, but from your personal experience, how's the guy?
You know what? He as you see him, he is. I mean, he gives as good as he takes, and he takes as good as he gives. I mean, if he gives you shit, you'll also take the shit back off you, but you'll give it 10 times worse the next time around, sort of thing. Good laugh. I'd say he's one of the best in the world for a reason. Really dedicated to the sport. So yeah, he is as you see him really. Just obviously there is no filter with him. That's the truth of it. There's no filter.
But that's what we love about him, man. He doesn't hold back, and you get what you see, right?
Yeah, and I think that in the UFC now, it's not just about being a fighter. You've got to be able to sell your fights, as you see Conor did.
Right,
did it one of the best to do it. You got to sell your fights. It's not just a fight now. It's a business. It's an entertainment. You've got to bring people to your fights, because you can have, for example, Leon Edwards. Okay, one of the most underrated fighters in that roster, but he can't talk. He can't sell a fight. And that's why he's ended up fighting Bilal. Is it? Mohamed Bilal. And I'm like
4 fights fall out.
And I'm like, if he could get on the mic and start calling X, Y, and Z out, he would be a big star, 100%. And he's got the ability to do it, I think. And I think that's the difference in Till as well. He grabs the microphone and he'll tell you exactly what he's thinking right there and then. If it's a positive or negative, if you like it or not, he's going to tell you. I was really nervous meeting him. Really, really nervous because I knew how brutal he was.
How'd the first interaction go?
Scary. Probably the most nervous interview I've ever done, because I sat down with him and his coach. And if you think Till's scary, his coach is scarier. But he'll he's just such a nice man. He really is a nice man. He's very quiet, very chosen of words. He's very intimidating. To be honest, I'd say he's a top man, and it was scary to have to sell myself to them, and I was the right man for that job, sort of thing. Obviously, after the amount of people they've probably seen over the years, it was difficult to. Because my English is not the best on the best of days. When I'm stuttering and trying to get my words out in front of Till, then I'm like, you know what I mean?
He must have been a fun interaction. But how did you go into say that meeting or any meeting with a professional fighter in terms of saying, hey, this is kind of your current program, and then you assess that, and this is what we'll put you on, So how does the assessment process kind of come about?
It depends of what they need, how quick they need it. It can be stuff like blood samples and stuff as well can be taken and seeing what they're deficient in. So let's say there's a fighter's deficient in B12 or iron, then you might need to supplement it to compare with. It all depends on the intensity of training to recover it properly, the schedule of training. Everything has to be accurate because it's well and good creating a program for, let's say, Joe Bloggs who trains 3 times a day, but the intensity levels are low.
You're talking about me there. You're talking about me there.
To compare with someone like Till, who might train twice a day, but very, very high intensity and probably train for 6-7 hours. And having that replenishing on the muscles and having the correct recovery, it's difficult at times to get it right. And obviously, that's why it's such a specific subject and specific in everything, to be honest with you. And there's no room for errors. And as you see, there's a fine line between missing weight and not making weight.
Yeah.
Obviously, missing weight, a couple of pounds, not making weight is when it's doing into the 4s and 5s. But either way, the fighter's health comes first. So if it means losing 20 grand to miss weight and be healthy, I would advise that to my fighter any day of the week. And I would probably take it on the chin as well on that, and take full blame for it, because you can't put a price on health. And if, as you say, some fighters are their own worst enemy when it comes to discipline. So that could be a thing as well, where you give an inch and they take a mile. I've not experienced it myself. I've been quite fortunate. All the fighters I've worked with have made weight. So I've been quite lucky in having disciplined fighters who are quite strict, to compare with some that I know that do enjoy a bit more than what you give. But yeah, I'd 100% opt in that side of it as well. So the health would be the first thing for me.
What's your take on kind of athletes and weight cutting and things like that? Because obviously there are some fighters, we get it, it makes sense. You can kind of move between weight classes and then you can kind of fluctuate your body to work it. And then you have some fighters who just like, you don't even look like you belong in the same conversation as these guys, and we know you're cutting so much weight just to get there.
Like if you look at like Connor at 145, he just does not look natural at all. There, no. It looks terrible, right? And it's just like peeled off, like everything's just peeled off. And then at 55 and 170, he looks way more normal.
I'm not anti, but I'm not pro. I understand the whys of it. So the reason is to gain advantage of your opponent. Let's say I'm 159 pounds, okay? Right. So if I cut to 145, I'd probably go back to about 156 before fight night, 157. Right. But if I'm fighting someone who is naturally 145, they might go to about 146, 148 come fight night. Right. I've got 10 pounds advantage going into that fight. It might benefit in the strength side of things, but it might hinder me in the gas tank. Come to late round 2 into round 3 and you've seen that with Connor sometimes, where going to the later rounds he's known for gassing.
He gasses out,
and that all depends on the weight cut. If you've got too much of a weight cut, it can hinder your rehydration. But on the other side of things, if a cut is done correctly, I've got no issues. But when some people will leave it last minute and panic and cut stupid, like I've heard and I've seen some stories of some horrific weight cuts. I think UFC need to make more weight groups. I think there should be one between the 155 and 170, and no two better people than GSP and Khabib to do a 162.5. Open that. There's no two better people to do that. I think that there should be more weight categories, because you go from 170 then to 185 and 185 then to 205. I mean, there's big gaps there or they should put a weight cap, a cap on how much rehydration you're allowed to go in. So if you're allowed a 5 pound rehydration limit or something, to make it even again. But it's also a part of the sport where it's the enjoyment. You're like, fucking hell, doing you go into fight week, you've got to cut weight, and I think if you take that away from the fighters, it wouldn't feel the same for them, and I think a lot of them would struggle in that sense. To be honest with you, so yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence, if you like. I'm a little bit. I understand why, but I don't like. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a bit like.
So, what are the like exact dangers of like these severe weight cuts in terms of like what does it do to your body when you're kind of shedding, say, like I guess the example I can give you is like Jorge Masvidal when he was on I think 2 weeks notice and he had to cut down 20 pounds in like
6
2
days,
weeks. Like, what are the dangers of that?
So Masvidal cut 20 pounds in 6 days. So it's a stone and a half.
6 days. So even worse. Yeah.
So there's a lot. Just think that you're completely dehydrating your body. If I'm right, and don't quote me on it, but if I'm right, I think one of the biggest thing is going blind. There's a weight cut that I know that has happened, and one of the fighters, he missed weight by a pound, and he was seeing black blotches in his eyes. And there's like, no more now, no more. We need to start hydrating him because he's losing his vision. It can kill you. Not if it's not done properly, it can kill you. It's as simple as that. And that's why there should be a strong team around you to do it. I personally want to do a weight cut myself to experience what the fighters are going through, so I can not sympathise as such, but understand what they're feeling. And it's something that I've looked into doing because I'm doing jiu-jitsu. So I'm already looking at which weight category I'm going to go into. And I'm like, well, I'm going to need to weight cut to go into this, or am I going to go the other side and try and get bigger? So, but I'm thinking of going down the weight cut route and I want to understand myself a bit more. So when it comes to weight cutting, I understand, right, what was going through my mind. Right, I needed water. I need to get the cut out of the way. I just needed pasta. I just needed a Nando's. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but these are the things the fighters go through, and they tell you. They sit there in the sauna and they tell you, I need a Nando's now. And I'm like, well, you're not having one, though, are you? Do you know what I mean? You got 3 pounds to cut. So, but it can be a really slow process as well.
Just to clarify there, are you looking to compete professionally in BJJ? Is that your thing, or are you just looking to kind of train?
Just on the local scene. It's just a hobby of mine. I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? I enjoy the thought of not getting punched in the face, to be honest with you. I mean, who'd want to ruin this one, Maker, eh?
Exactly, man. Don't ruin that. Come on. Your clients need you.
Yeah,
exactly.
I wanted to ask you about kind of the competition in your industry, I guess. And I imagine it's kind of, it must be cutthroat in terms of, like just you saying on the topic of Darren Till, like I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people who want to work with him. And so there are probably other nutritionists in the area who are trying to undercut you or things like that. Like, how's that working? Like, how do you manage that? How's that been in the scene?
So there's some of the nutritionists who work quite high up in the UFC. When I started working with Till, they were making videos referring to X, Y's, and Z's that we did, slating me, going in on me, and I was inexperienced in what to do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really have a clue how to deal with the negative comments and the hate and stuff. And I remember after the session talking to Darren, and I went, listen, I'm getting loads of messages and loads of hate about what we're doing with this keto thing. And he just said, listen, they don't pay your bills, fuck them. And it was as simple as that. And I went, fair enough. Fair enough, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he said, if anyone gives you any hate comments, just ask yourself, do they pay your bills? If they don't, ignore them. And I was like, fair enough. And since then, it's just been one of them where I've had people message me saying that about my qualifications not being high enough to work with fighters and all this. And I'm like, get a grip. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them where I'm just like, get a grip. I've got the qualifications. I've got everything that I need. The only thing is I've not gone to uni and studied for 3 years, but I'm on the same level as you. I'm not in 30, 40 grand debt in uni. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of it's jealousy that I've come from completely nowhere, not gone to uni, and all of a sudden working with fighters So they're like, well, I've gone to uni. Why am I not working with that fighter? And a few of them have reached out to the likes of Till and stuff and not had a reply. And I probably is a lot of jealousy, which I'm okay with. I'm not bothered. I mean, it's just one of them. If they've got time in their day to comment on me, then I'm doing something right.
I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? So I mean, go for it. I mean, your name's getting out there. You know, you're working with Till.
Yeah. I said that, but do you know what? There is bad publicity. I'll disagree with that. Yeah? There is a point where you just go, you know what? That's enough now. I can't be asked this anymore. I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
As well. So I obviously follow your page and stuff as well, and I saw that you posted about the gyms the other day. Yeah. And I've gone through the comments and I've kind of hooked onto the. I was going to comment on a few people, but I've kept myself quite quiet about it. I'll come on the podcast and have a chat with you about it instead.
Yeah. We love it. Unload. Go ahead.
No. What do you two think about gyms? Will you be returning, or what's your?
Yeah. For me personally, I set up a gym in my basement. So I think I'm okay from that standpoint, but literally I still do need help from the nutritional standpoint. So I'll probably reach out to you after this and we'll have a discussion in terms of that, because I'm trying to do a little bit of a cut too. I mean, quarantine's probably hit everyone in the wrong places. We've all grown a little bit, I would assume. So that's my opinion. I mean, in terms of gym, I think for the most part, life is going to be back to normal. I think a lot of people are going to go back to it. It's just a way of life, and I think people enjoy it. So maybe they'll have more restrictions on a few things moving forward. But I think it's going to be pretty normal. I mean, as long as they stay alive. I don't know how much longer they can, take nobody coming in and not having money flowing in. But, for me personally, I think just building the home gym saves me a lot of time to go to the gym in the first place. I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder or like have a physique of a Greek god or something, but just be healthy enough.
Yeah. I mean, obviously let us know how you feel about it as well. I think from a money standpoint, I think a lot of people notice that they're overspending on the gym. Like you can get a really good workout at home with minimal equipment and minimal things. So I think that's something that's definitely going to kind of creep into people's minds, even as gyms open up. From a health standpoint, my personal opinion is they should just leave it open. Like I don't understand how, people's fitness, like if you're a healthy adult and you want to work out, like I assume that's probably the best way you can get a good workout in, and it's a healthy place to be in, and it's a mental thing too, right? Like you want that community aspect and things like that. And I imagine, people who are susceptible to if they have a weak immune system or something, like if you're a senior citizen or something, like don't go to the gym. It's a bad time to go to the gym. But if you're a healthy individual, like you should let them in. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, so to that point, go ahead, go crazy, go reply to those comments, and we'll sit back and just enjoy it.
Comment to them live, though. We're doing it live.
Do you know what? I should go through them all now, so I'd be like, right, that one. But no, I'm not going to be like that. So
we'll release this clip this next week or something, and then you can just go unload on all those comments, man.
Yeah. So there's a couple of ways you can look at it. From a mental point of view, I think it's very important for everyone to have some form of exercise in their routine. May that be walking, running, in the gym, home workouts, jiu-jitsu, cycling, bike, whatever. I think it's important for you to have some form of enjoyment in releasing your endorphins, releasing some form of energy. The biggest one I've seen why people do want to go back to the gym is accountability. Let's say you've worked out on a Monday, you had a day off on Tuesday because you're watching a program late at night, your Netflix series carried on to Wednesday. Thursday then it got really tasty, so you carried on watching it on Thursday. But Friday it was coming to an end, but decided to finish it on Friday. So you've missed 4 days in the gym, let's say. Saturday, it's a weekend, so it doesn't count. Sunday doesn't count, apparently, because it's a weekend as well. So that's 6 days as someone could have missed the gym. But if they had a coach or if they had a trainer in a gym, that wouldn't happen. They would at least go another 2 times off that week. And if it's missing that TV program for an extra hour a week to be able to switch that mindset of a routine of, as I say, releasing the endorphins, because it's not all about losing. Gym is not all about losing weight, in my opinion. I think a lot of it's more getting stronger, getting fitter, being happy. I mean, it's about feeling good about yourself. I mean, when you've had a good, let's say, chest day, I feel ripped. Yeah, I mean, you feel like you're bigger than your shirt, sort of thing. And doing them double doors open up for you, you're walking through. And I think that point of it is important as accountability. I think accountability and the mental side of it is more important than anything, because obviously everyone understands that without the nutrition, you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to doing it. You can train 12 times a day, but if you're eating over your calories, you're going to gain weight regardless. It's the same as you can do a HIIT workout for 10 minutes and lose weight, or you can do a HIIT workout for 3 hours and you can gain weight. It all depends what you're doing the other 23 hours or 21 hours or so. So I think people are starting to switch on to understand, wait a minute, it's the nutrition side of it more than the gym. But I think they also understand that it's the mental side that they need to go to the gym. And I think a lot of people will go back to the gym. But I think they need to be switched on and going, right, I've just done the bench. I've got a sweaty back. I'm going to clean that bench down and be clean.
Right, yeah.
I mean, be adults about it and just go, you know what, mate, I understand I've just been on this now. Give me 2 minutes just to wipe it down and you can come on. Do you know what I mean? If someone says, how many sets have you got left? Listen, I've got 3, but I'm going to clean the machine down. So we've got 10 minutes, if that's okay. Adults conversation. And I think that's what we miss as a society. I think we're quite naive into think that we've been given dates now, 12th of April. And after that, apparently, everything's going to be back to normal. It's really not. We were told we were going to go and see our families at Christmas. 4 days before Christmas, we were told it's not happening now until, obviously, we're still now. So I've still not seen my family since, November? So, do you know what I mean? It's one of them things where I think we're getting too hooked on a little bit into a certain date and then just letting everything go. It's when we get reopened is when we need to be the cleanest. We need to really go, right, do you know what? And it's sad that it's took, how many years for us to learn to wash our hands and be clean in a gym or in anywhere really, in a shopping centre or anything. It baffles me. It really does baffle me that it's took this long. And I understand people that will stay and do home workouts. I mean, but what happens on them days where you can't be asked, or what happens on them days where, I mean, I praise people who can do it on their own, because I can't. I've got a coach myself, because I know on them days when I can't be asked, I've got someone to go, do you know what? Go and do it. Because you're never too good, do you know what I mean? And there's always that aspect of, I want to be a better version of myself, and having someone accountable for me, even if it's a friend or, I mean, if it's my girlfriend going, go for a run this morning. I'm like, I can't be asked. She goes, come on, you'll feel better after doing it.
Jason, remember our interview with Nick for Midday? And he mentioned how they also have like a coach that helps them through like their kind of business aspect. So he's keeping them accountable in the sense that, this is what you should be doing. This is how you guys should be interacting. And in the same sense, you're using a coach to be accountable for yourself in terms of, I guess, your personal health and whatnot. So I think like that therapy or the therapeutic kind of aspect, and also, again, the accountability is so important. And that's true. Like if I had a coach, I would 100% make sure I go, because one, I know I'd probably shit it on if I didn't go. And then 2, it just makes me feel like, oh, fuck, I didn't do it. Like I'm an idiot for that. I'm also paying for it too. So
we posted up one of your tweets recently where you're mentioning like, if you fall asleep at night and you don't brush your teeth, you don't wait until next Monday. Like you get back on the train like the next day, right? It's same workout should be the same thing. So I think that accountability side is really important, and people are missing that a lot, man.
I posted that in December, middle of December. I tweeted saying, I fell asleep on the couch last night, but don't worry, I'll wait until January to brush my teeth. I was like, how stupid does that sound? You do it first possible opportunity. It's the same when it comes to health and fitness and everything. If you have a bad day, let it be a bad day and just start again tomorrow. I mean, don't wait until Monday or next month or 2 weeks down the line, just think to yourself, how much do you really want it? And then a lot of people will switch on themselves and go, do you know what? Yeah. And that's why I think my online coaching side of things is as strong, because I'm really hot on my clients. I'm talking to the clients pretty much every day in either motivating them to do their workout, because some people message, they're very honest and saying, I've got a very honest relationship with all of them. I've said, you tell me exactly how you feel and I'll tell you what to do, because some will say they've got like, my knee hurts today. I'm like, rest. Like, yeah, but rest. Your knee hurts, rest. Because what will happen is you'll do a workout today that will hinder, you'll be off for another week. Rest it for today. We'll try again tomorrow. And if it's still hurting tomorrow, you rest again tomorrow. And if it takes 4 days, it takes 4 days, but dial back the nutrition. Okay? So you're not going to have a packet of crisps tonight. You're going to dial back. Do you know what I mean? It's having that honest conversation. Yeah. That's why I think the online coaching side of things is doing that really well, to be honest, in the sense of having that honest relationship and being there for every single one of them, and that are struggling. One messaged me the other day saying, I'm on my 4th episode on Netflix today and I've not worked out yet. What do I do? And I went, press pause and work out.
Yeah.
And another one, and then you get some people that they just like, what do you expect?
It's not difficult. Sometimes people just want you to say it to them, right?
They just want to hear it. And you know what? I did it myself before the gym was closed. I was doing my emails and I said to one of the PTs, I need to work out today, but I really can't be asked. And he took my laptop off me. He went, go on.
Yeah.
Went, yeah. Thank you very much for that. He just took my laptop. And I went, fair enough. I just went to work out. And
yeah,
even some days I need it. I mean, and it's easy enough being positive on social media all the time, but some days you need it for yourself. You need someone to tell you to get a move on. And I think people should have a goal. Pardon me. If you don't like running, don't run. Okay? If you don't like cycling, don't cycle. If you don't like HIIT, don't do HIIT. It's that simple. Don't force yourself to do things you don't like. And set yourself targets. If you like cycling, challenge yourself to do a 10K in a month, or then do 20K. And then if you like running, do a 5K, do a 10. I mean, challenge yourself a little bit. And I have them goals, and that's why, once again, the accountability is important. So if I tell you two, right, I'm going to do a 10K tomorrow, and I don't do it, then you two are both accountable for me not doing it. Do you know what I mean?
I also want to talk about diet. I mean, you mentioned, like, I guess your philosophy is a bit open, like giving flexibility to your what's the word I'm looking for? Clients. There you are. And so, like, when it comes to, there's a lot of taboos in the nutrition space now. It's either, hey, you can't eat carbs, or, there's all these other fad diets going around. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, kind of break that stuff down, and then we'll get into like the types of diets there are. Like, we'll talk about our favorite one personally, the vegans.
Let me just get comfortable in this one. It's a Joe Rogan sort of podcast where we do 3 or 4 hours, because you've just opened up a can of worms here. What do you want to start on? Sorry. What diets do you want me to start on?
Let's just go on like the no carb diet, or like a lot of people are doing keto now. So let's start off with that. Where did it kind of maybe start off from, and then how does it benefit you if it does?
Okay, so keto is a great way of losing water weight. Okay, and I say water weight instead of fat loss, because on keto, what will happen is every gram of carbs will hold 3 to 5 grams of water. So this is why you see a lot of fighters come fight week, they do restrict their carbs, they do restrict their sodium, because it doesn't hold water, and it's easy to get that weight down without having to be actual fat, if that makes sense to you. And what happens in keto is, if it's done correctly, there is some things in saying that it can benefit you in this, that, and the other. But personally, I don't believe it, because you've got to be in a real state of ketosis for it to happen. And a lot of people think they're in a state of ketosis when they're really not. But I'll go into the supplements of that in a sec as well. So with keto, you could lose 10 pounds on keto in, let's say, 2 weeks. 1 pound of that could be fat.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. Unless you're in a deficit of 3,500, you will not lose fat. It will be water weight. So this is why weight fluctuation happens so often. So keto, they're nearly as bad, in my opinion, as intermittent fasters who are skipping breakfast. That's all they're doing. It's not benefiting anything else than than skipping breakfast. So they're trying to wear the biggest badge. I mean, you don't even have to ask keto people who are keto or intermittent faster their name. They'll tell you they're a keto or intermittent faster first. It's the same as vegans. They'll also come in with "I'm a vegan." Sorry, nice to meet you, sort of thing. They come out with these, and it's like who's got the biggest badge. And all I've not got an issue with any of them as long as they don't try and throw it down every other person's throat. Because I'm all about sustainable diets. And I don't know, I hate the word diet. I really do. I prefer my clients, I say, eating smarter, to be honest with you, because if you get into the mentality that it's a diet, you're going to hate it. You're going to want to hate that because of past experience or maybe what you've heard someone else saying, I was on a diet, and then like, first thing, that diet word is such a negative word. So when you try and change that around, saying you're just eating smarter or choosing wisely, you see, and if you can't sustain that, if you can't see yourself eating that in the next 5-10 years, it's not the right diet for you. If you like, it's not the right for you. And it should be balanced. It should be a balanced diet. It should be a balanced lifestyle. It should be lifestyle changes that you can carry on for the rest of your life, really. Because like now, when I watch the UFC, I'll have a beer because that's what I do. I mean, it's not like I'll mask to people, say I eat clean all the time, because I don't. Come the weekend, I'll have a pizza and have a beer watching the UFC. Like what everyone doing, the football's on, you have a beer. It's not like... so it's one of them where I think a lot of people are trying to persuade that they've especially trainers, that they've got a perfect lifestyle, perfect diet, and what they do, everyone else has to do. It's like if you work with me, then I do keto, you've got to do keto, or you've got to intermittent fasting, or you've got to do that, be a vegan. And I don't like. I mean, some of my clients do intermittent fasting, but they realize that it's just skipping breakfast. It's just because they prefer to close their calorie window. It makes it easier for them to cut their calories in that way, rather than try to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they have a bigger lunch, bigger dinner, and they have the same amount of calories, but it's in an easier window, to be honest with you. And these supplements that are coming out now, obviously I can't name names because of legal rights and all this, and I don't need to. If you're getting legal rights coming at you. But in my opinion, because I can say that, I think they're all a load of... They're just terrible. It's money making. And I've mentioned this before. The marketing scheme behind them is brilliant, because they'll lure people into thinking that the product is the reason behind the weight loss. And the people that they choose to get the products, sell the products, they don't care about the person buying it. So you've got X, Y, and Z celebrities who are selling this product. They're not going to check up on Karen to see if she's okay next week. I mean, they're not going to check up to see if they're okay. And if they are okay, fair enough. If they're not, they don't care either. And I think that's what...
I love that you mentioned that.
They really don't. And
sorry, man, go ahead.
They're getting paid thousands and thousands, and they get these, join my club to get 10% discount off this. No, mate, you're getting 10% off every single person that buys that product. Let's not... I mean, it's let's be realistic. What's going on here? And it's one of them. And you've probably seen I call a lot of them out, because they need to be called out, and they're misleading people for a financial gain, and that's exactly what they're doing. And it bugs me that they can sell these products without having a qualification degree, doing any sort of backup to why a study even.
Yeah.
If someone came to me with a study saying that a fat burner really does work and it works the best, it burns fat, I'd be like, okay, I'll sell it for you. I'll take some of that because it can help my clients. And I would, because it would help my clients, but it doesn't. It's just a caffeine supplement. It's a hunger suppressant. So people think, but on the flip side of things, if it takes that for people to lose weight and become healthy as well, there is that side of things where you just go, do you know what I mean? I hate it, I really do. But there's that side where you go, if that's the kickstart people need to become healthier, fitter, stronger, there is. But there's a lot of repercussions from it, and a lot of binging and eating disorders and stuff do develop a lot, and mental health problems because of the low calorie diets, and it's not good. It's not good as a whole, and people get called out a lot on it now, especially over here in the UK. I think we've built quite a strong foundation of PTs who call the bullshit out, and I'm proud to be a part of that team, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's one of them where they can't do anything for me to call them out. I mean, you get blocked on Instagram, but my video's still there. My posts and comments are still there somewhere.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. I actually listened to the Joe Rogan episode, the release this week with Kevin Holland and Travis Luter. And Kevin Holland, like, he mentions it in during the podcast. He's like, yeah, I don't take supplements. I like, my diet's probably shit. But then he like stops himself and he's like, but if anybody asks, I take this protein because he's sponsored by them. So he's like, I take this protein.
Yeah.
And Joe's looking at him like, no, you don't. Like, you just said you don't, right? So there's a lot of that there where people kind of, all these celebrities are flexing on Instagram, and half of them are, photoshopped or fake. And it's like, it just puts that mentality into people thinking that this will solve your problems. But it's like, nothing's going to replace the hard work.
I had a conversation this morning about the Kylie Jenner photo that was posted last week.
Oh, was it Kylie or Kendall?
Whichever.
One of them.
So there's 4 or 5 big aspects to that photo. First of all, how much of her body is real? Okay. Second of all, she's got the best team of trainers, nutritionists, scientists working around her. She's also got the best photographers in the world. Photoshop, number 4. Okay, how much of that is real?
Right.
How much preparation has it took to take that photo? Because she was more likely to have dropped her carbs a couple of days before, to be doing all the water weights, doing no water weights. And that's not healthy to be promoting to your younger generation of followers who don't understand them 5 or 6 concepts, who will look at it and go, I want that body. Because that's not, and for some people that might be a healthy look, but as a coach, that's not a healthy look. I mean, there's 2 ends of the spectrums where you've got the obesity side of things, and you've also got, and I'm not saying that obese people are not healthy, and I'm not saying that people who are really, really thin are healthy. I mean, there's some people who are, and either side of things, but to promote that side of things, and the amount of women and females on social media sharing that, saying, perfect body, oh my God, no, that's the wrong image. That's not strong, healthy, fit. That's not, do you know what I mean? And I strongly disagree with the promotion side of that, because it's given the wrong image to people, because they don't understand the behind the scenes of how. I would love to see the original photo of that, because I can guarantee it will not look the same.
Yeah.
Because the airbrushing and Photoshop and the team that are around her to do, I mean, she doesn't look like that 99% of the year. I can guarantee that it can't. I mean, it baffles me, and it's the same when people compete. They don't look like that 99% of the year. So we just need to get into a realistic mode of be happy with you, don't try and be someone else. I mean, be happy with yourself and try and be a better version of yourself instead of trying to be a better version of a celebrity or something. And I know we've all done it. We've all gone, look at Ronaldo. He's got a perfect physique. Sort of thing. We've all said, I'd love to look like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Really, would you? Do you know what I mean, the amount of training he does? Honestly, I don't think I would. I will be honest. I mean, the hard work and dedication he's put into it,
over time. Yeah.
but I can see a lot of his photos photoshopped.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of his physique and stuff has got to be airbrushed a little bit when he does these photo shoots with. I once again can't name products and brands and stuff, but I mean, he promotes certain products, and a lot of that's going to be photoshopped as well. And I think that we sometimes get the wrong image from these celebrities. So that's why I do promote a lot of celebrities that are natural and normal, doing normal human beings, normal, just like you and me, go to the gym 3 times a week, enjoy a takeaway, enjoy having a beer, enjoy family time, enjoy having a day on the couch doing nothing. Because sometimes what a normal person does. So yeah, that side of it really got my back up, to be honest with you. When I saw young generation, I think that's the right way of putting it. The younger generation, like my
Gen Z,
my brother, he's 16, and he messaged me saying, "Why is she so thin?" So I think, how is she so thin? What diet is she on? And I was like, I don't want to answer because you're gonna be surprised. She's probably on 1,000 calories for the last couple of weeks to really pull that down, sort of thing. And I don't know the training side. And once again, how much? Obviously, they've got the best cosmetic surgeries in the world. So how much of it is actually real and not injected in? And I'm not accusing of being injected here, but in my opinion, a lot of it could be. So it's one of them. What's real? And it's. I remember being on a course and someone said to me, "When you pass a Ferrari or a really nice car in the car park, how long do you think about that car after?" And I was like, "Not long." He goes, "So why do you go through social media and get obsessed with someone's body, or why do people do that?" Because that's what we do. We go on social media and we scroll. It's just like walking past a car. We scroll and we go, "I want a body like that."
Yeah.
Same as I want a car like that. So, I mean, and a lot of people will get really focused into it as well. And I think we need to understand, like, it's not needed. I mean, become a better version of you. That 1% every day, become a better version of you, and that's all you should worry about, really.
Yeah, 100%. I want to round out this topic with kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, and by all means, I don't want to get you in any trouble here, but
No.
I think what we've seen kind of is like the complete polar opposite, where it's like you have people who are clearly overweight and who are struggling with managing their weight, who are kind of glorifying that to be like, "Hey, you're fat phobic if you make fun of me for this." And it's like, no, we're not making fun of you. We're just telling you you're not this isn't healthy for your well-being or for your body or your future. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's been exposed a lot this year. I think some of the COVID stats are significantly impacting people who are obese, like people who can't manage that. So how have you been managing that? Like, has that come up with your clients, or like, have you been dealing with that at all within your training and things like that?
I'm all for body positivity. Okay, I'm going to clarify that straight away because I really am, and I love the people who come out and are honest about themselves and come out and doing and happy with themselves, and people who are over the BMI of 25.1 and who are obese are coming out and happy and positive with themselves, and I love that. I really do love it. But one thing that really annoys me is when people who are not in the same category are trying to create roles and trying to create these angles that aren't as flattering, if you get me. And that's damaging the body positivity movement by doing that. And once again, I'm all up for body positivity 100%. And it's something like 70% of people over the BMI of 25 are unhealthy, but also the 30% are healthy. So not all of them, and I'm once again not branding everyone the same. It's the same as, people who are on the other side of the BMI. Not all of them, just because they're thin, doesn't mean that they're healthy. So I think it's different because I've seen people who are obese, but yet again, they can run. They can run. They're healthy. They've got a stamina like you wouldn't believe. So I think it's very difficult, and I think it's a lot of it comes down to the person themselves accepting. Accepting, right? Wait a minute. The person themselves have got to accept wait a minute, I'm on the BMI of 25 plus. What am I going to do? Am I A, happy about it, or B, do I need to do something about it? And when you look at it, and some people will say, you know what, I am healthy, I eat well, I do this, that, and the other. I go to the gym 3-4 times a week, I'm okay, sort of thing. And then you've got the other side who might smoke 50 a day, who take takeaways and doing they're not looking after themselves, sort of thing. So I think it's very important in understanding what healthy is to you more than anything, because healthy for me might be different to healthy for you. And I think people need to evaluate that themselves more than anything, than have other people to comment on them if they're healthy or not. And once again, I'm all for body positivity, but it's a really touchy subject to really dive into without going, because one little thing wrong can really split the thing. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it on. I'm all for it, as long as you're not trying to create an image for engagement, because there's a lot of people who are not in a BMI of 25 and are they are fit, stronger, and this, but they're trying to create these roles and trying to create these body angles from the back and for engagement, and then they tag it like body movements and all this, and I'm like, I'm 100% with it, but you don't need to do it yourself. Like, you're not obese, you don't need to try and I get encouraging it and stuff as well, but I'm also, I'm really one of them. It's damaging more people seeing a slim person trying to replicate someone, sort of thing. And yeah, especially just for likes and engagement and these comments like, oh, go sis, you do it, sort of thing. And I get it, but I think people need to dial back on it as well, and saying, because it's going to damage the movement eventually. And it's just going to, it's going to be one of them things where it's going to go to the other extreme. And yeah, obviously I've got to be careful in how I worded that. Sorry. So
no, that's fair. And I think you explained it well there. In terms of, everyone's different, and it just managing what works for your body, and that's all it comes down to. So I think you kind of helping people through your training programs, working with fighters, you get a different array and different perspective of different kinds of people, and it kind of exposes you to understand like how to approach different diets and different body types and things like that. So that's awesome, man. I think you explained that really well.
It's what you've got to think of when it comes to diet. Can you do that for the next 5 years? Can you do that for the next 10 years? If you can't, then you need to reevaluate it straight away, because it's not a sustainable diet. This is why these detoxing and juice diets only take 10 days, 12 days, because they're not sustainable. You're going to lose a lot of water weight early on. And if you see someone saying, join me on my 21-day detoxing challenge or this 10-day ketones challenge, it's because it's not sustainable. And that's why it's such a short window. It's because it's not sustainable for the long run. For me, I don't work with anyone less than 3 months, because I know if come to the end of the 3 months, they've had all the tools they need. Yeah. If they want to leave, they can. And I know they'll be sustainable for the future. And I've had people who I've worked with for 3 months, but now they've lost more weight since leaving me, because they've had all the tools from me to do it. I mean, they check in with me once a month and just text me, listen, mate, I've just lost another 3-4 pounds this month. Thank you very much, sort of thing. And I'm happy with that, because I've given them the tools that they need to go further in life. So yeah, what you've got to think of is, after the 10 days, after the challenge, what next? What happens next? You're back in square one.
Right.
I mean, and I get a lot of the challenges from PTs and stuff, because a lot of it's habit building to turn you into clients. I've just going on a spoiler there, real big spoiler, what happens. But it's all about habit building, and that's the first things I do with people, is just build good habits, get better sleep, get your steps in, drink water, start cooking more nutritious food. If you can't cook nutritious food, what's the best next thing to having that product, sort of thing? So yeah, it's all about habit building and becoming a better version of yourself eventually. But
we love it. I know Aman's going to hit you up after this conversation. He's got some goals later this year to hit, so hopefully you can work with him there too. But hey, man, this was great.
Let's do them. It'd be good to get good before and afters as well.
Let's do it, man. Hey, we like to when we finish off our podcast episodes, we like to do like a little lightning round where we just kind of toss some quick questions at you to get some fast answers and learn a little bit more about yourself here. So
go on then.
Let's see. Go. Awesome. So you've kind of had a long day, you know, whether you're chefing it up or you're training people and your clients. How do you like to come home and unwind?
Do you know what? Honestly, a beer. I love having a bottle of beer, sit down, bottle of beer with my laptop and just finish checking all and with all my clients and watch some TV and spend some time with your girlfriend.
Yeah. What's your beer of choice? Let's try and get you a sponsor here.
Peroni. Honestly, Peroni, if you want to sponsor me, I'm a PT and I will promote your product.
I love it.
I'll give a discount code Gethin10 from Peroni.
Awesome. You know, you're working with a lot of fighters, and feel free to, you know, obviously name drop your clients here as well. But who's one fighter that you're kind of excited for and looking out for right now?
Man, this is difficult. Do you know what? Casey Comedy, he's fighting tomorrow night. So he'll be fighting for the IBF and WBO European belts tomorrow night. One of them being vacant.
Okay.
He is a young. I think he's 8-0 at the moment. He'll be 9-0 coming tomorrow night. But he flew over from Afghan when the war was going on over there, and mate, he's just an incredible man. The hand speed of him is. And honestly, if you both can watch tomorrow night, it'll be on about this time tomorrow night. Honestly, it'll be a spectacle to watch. He reminds me a lot of Prince Nassim. The arrogance and cockiness and the hand speed is just, he excites me. To be honest with you, and also obviously Robert Duran as well. Obviously, his father being Roberto Duran, hands of stone. I mean, one of the greatest ever to live probably in boxing, and being able to work with someone of that magnitude is massive. And I would love, and it's one of them things I would love to meet his father. Obviously, after COVID goes, it's one of them things where, as a boxing fan, to be able to meet one of the because one person I'd love to have met was Muhammad Ali. But obviously,
everyone. I think that's like a lot of people's choice.
Obviously, Roberto Duran is up there with Ali as the greatest ever. So, I'd love to meet him as well. So, Casey Comedy and Duran are the two biggest. I think this year they'll be big stars come end of the year.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll definitely check that out tomorrow night. We can't end this without asking you a diet question, and this is something that we ask all of our guests. I don't know if this is a big issue over there in Europe, so let's see.
I don't think so. They put like corn and stuff on their pizza.
So we, over here in North America, we have a very controversial topic of whether you like pineapples on your pizza.
Right. First of all, pineapple is a fruit, okay? So let's just leave it in a fruit basket.
You see where this is going? I told you, Sherson. I told you.
Okay? So,
all right.
Fruits don't belong on a pizza. No chance. No.
Dude, I was in Germany when I was a kid, and I vaguely remember someone gave me a pizza with egg on it. So, like, I don't know if I want to take your opinion, man.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
That's so weird. That's like an omelet on a pizza.
So, in UK, we've got like a breakfast pizza. So, a full English breakfast on a pizza. So,
okay.
I would go with the egg one over the pineapple. No, man.
Yeah, see, I told you, Sherson, you can't do that, man.
We were building bridges here and just come in and just smashed it straight to pieces.
All right, I'm not going to win this one here, clearly, so I'll just let that go.
Yeah, then we can be best friends. No. I hate pineapple on pizza too.
What's your pizza choice?
I don't know. I guess our toppings are a bit different, but I guess if I do a little pepperoni, chicken, and maybe hot pepper. You know,
my go-to is Italian sausage, jalapenos, and mushrooms.
Yeah. Fair
How about you, man?
Well, I'm a barbecue-based sort of person, so barbecue-based Shaking
Okay.
on a mushroom.
Love it. Hey man, this was fun. Thanks so much for coming on. Let us tell us where we can find you, where we can check out your podcast as well, and let us know where we can check you out here.
On Apple and Spotify, the Gethin Ellis podcast, and on Instagram at Gethin Ellis Coaching. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.